Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.11 Tadvag visargo janatag viplavo Yasmin pratishlokam abadavatyaphi Namanyanantasya shonkitani yat Shunvanti gayanti grunanti sadhavaha. Here the Bhagavatam is continuing on its description of the glories of the Supreme Lord, and specifically of the literature that glorifies the Supreme Lord. This is Vyasa Narada Samvada, and Narad Muni is analyzing the cause of the dissatisfaction of his disciple Vyasa, and in that connection he has said that you have not glorified the Supreme Lord. So in this particular verse, he is comparing this in the previous verse are usually presented as twin verses which instruct by contrasting. So the verse essentially states that Tadvag visargo janatag viplavo. That those words which are glorifying the Supreme Lord, Namanyanantasya sho Ankitanya, the names, the glories of the Lord Ananta, Lord who is unlimited, whose glories are broadcast over there. So such word Tadvag visargo, they bring about a revolution. Janata agaviplavo. Visarga is the Tadvag viplava. Sorry. Tadvag visargo janata agaviplavo. Visarga is creation. Those words are such a creation that they bring about a agaviplava. They bring about a destruction in the aga, the sins of people. Yasmin pratishlokam abadavatyapi. Those words in which each letter is glorifying the Supreme Lord. Yasmin pratishlokam abadavatyapi. Pratishlokam. Every word is a glorification of the Supreme Lord. And Namanyanantasya sho Ankitaniyat. Namanyanantasya sho. That such words are the glorification of the Supreme Lord. And Shunvanti gayanti grunanti sadhava. Even if they are having difficult, they are having faults. Pratishlokam abadvatya. It's the extreme thing that every verse is filled with fault. So there is spiritual potency, and then there is literary style. So the Bhagavatam says, in fact, one of the defining characteristics of the Bhagavatam is that the material qualifications are consistently shown to be subordinate to or even insignificant when compared to the spiritual qualification of devotion. Thus we have Trasura, a demon who is materially far more disqualified than a Devata Indra, and Trasur is shown to be greater than Indra. Or we have the Yagi Brahmana Patnis who are shown to be greater than the Yagi Brahmanas, their husbands. Or we have the Nambarish Maharaj who is a Grahastha and Kshatriya, shown to be greater than Durvasa who is a Brahmana and Sannyasi. And all because, although they have materialist qualification or qualification, but they have spiritual qualification. Their spiritual qualification is that they are devoted to the Supreme Lord. And that same point is being talked about here in the Bhagavatam, where the point is made that the literature which has material qualification, Chitrapadam, it is, even if that word is filled with poetic ornamentation, and that is contrasted here with Pratishlokam abadvatya. That even if there is defect in every word, in every verse, still. So there is material qualification, so that there will be abandoned material flourish in some literature. In contrast with that, there may be no material flourish in some literature, rather than material defects in some literature. But if that literature with material flourish, with literary flourish, if that is not glorifying the Supreme Lord, then that is considered worthless. That is like a pilgrimage place for crows. And here it is said that that literature which glorifies the Supreme Lord is accepted by the sadhavas. Shunvanti gayanti grananti sadhavaha. The saintly people accept this because they see that its spiritual purpose, its devotional purpose is going to purify the world. So here, the Bhagavatam underscores that the purpose of literature is not just to entertain. It is not just to impress with its literary qualities. The purpose of the literature, of any literature, ultimately is to connect us with the Supreme Lord. And when we glorify Krishna, by such glorification we become purified, others become purified, and we all move closer to Krishna. And that moving closer to Krishna is the ultimate purpose of life. So here it is that purpose that is being stressed, and that is the purpose which is being emphasized. And by drawing this radical contrast, just like Krishna does in the Bhagavad Gita, when he talks about in first 7.15, he talks about one extreme of people who don't just not surrender to Krishna but who defy Krishna. And in 7.16 he talks about Chaturvidha bhajante mam. Then those who approach him, worship him, and gradually they come to the level of surrendering to him, that is described in 7.90. So similarly Krishna is drawing here the Bhagavatam is drawing two extremes over here. The literature which has no glory, which does not glorify the Supreme Lord at all, and that literature which glorifies the Supreme Lord. So that spiritual quality trumps all material qualities. And we see this consistently in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life also, that we see when his spiritual master asked him to correct his book, edit his book, and he with great humility first said, no, you are written for the pleasure of Krishna, there cannot be any fault in it. And yet his spiritual master insisted, and then he found some fault, and his spiritual master said that it is not a fault. Ishwara Puri said. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that. And we see he was South Indian Brahmana, he could not recite the Bhagavad Gita properly. And yet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was pleased with him. Why? Because he had devotion. So here the subtext, the underlying message from this comparison that Narad Muni is doing is, he's telling Vyasdev, you have written phenomenal literature, but the literature are not devoted to the glorification of the Supreme Lord. Yes, there is mention of the Supreme Lord, there is mention of bhakti, but the literature is not devoted to that, and that such a literature is not going to be relishable to the heart. That's the point which will come later. But earlier he has said that the literature that glorifies the Supreme Lord is dear to the Lord and to the devotees. And that same thing is said here with further emphasis that Shunvanti gayanti grananti sadhava. The sadhus accept the literature which glorifies the Lord, even if it does not contain much, even literary flourish. Rather, if it contains some defects also, that doesn't matter. Still, it is praised and glorified by the great saints, by the saintly people. Now, sometimes some scholars try to find some faults in Srila Prabhupada's books. Sometimes his Sanskrit translations are not very accurate, or sometimes he adds something in the translation itself which is not there in the verse. There are various levels of explanation for this, but the important point is, even if somebody says for argument's sake that there are some defects in it, and even if we say that there are defects, still the point remains that Prabhupada was a great saint who loved Krishna, and he wanted all of us to love Krishna, and because of that intention to glorify Krishna, his books have had such potency. The Bhagavatam has been made universally available by Srila Prabhupada's tireless mercy, and we all have the opportunity to be benefited by his great benevolence. So what we need to recognize is that keep the transcendental purpose in mind. Prabhupada here in purport also he says that Prabhupada translated the and commented on the first canto in India. At that time, he was a one-man army. He did not have any assistants. He did not have any editors. Prabhupada knew that as compared to many other devotees in the Gaudiya Math, his English was relatively good. But still, there were some issues with his English, and Prabhupada himself admitted that there were issues. And he said that our attempts to present this great knowledge, this great literature in foreign language is going to, is not just saying, he doesn't say that it is going to be difficult for me to do it. He says it's going to fail. But he doesn't consider his purpose will fail. He says, yes, the English literal or literary accuracy may not be there, but the transcendental purpose will still be there, and that purpose will be fulfilled. So there is the fire of material existence, where people are suffering, burning because of desires and anxieties. And the Bhagavatam offers the remembrance of Krishna, which acts like the extinguishing fire, which acts like the fire extinguisher. So Prabhupada said that when there's a fire in a house and the neighbors want to warn the residents of the house to get out, they don't care about the precision of the language. They focus on conveying the message, making sure that it is understood. So Prabhupada in that mood was focused on making sure that the message was conveyed, and that people moved towards him and moved towards Krishna and attained Krishna. That was his primary focus, and that focus was wonderfully served. And that focus, consistent focus on glorifying the Supreme Lord, which the Bhagavatam stresses, is what Srila Prabhupada also consistently stresses in his brilliant purports. So the sadhavaha. So if we are also interested in truth, if we are interested in spiritual truth, if we are just interested in grammatical accuracy, then we can also find fault with Prabhupada's books. But if we are interested in ultimate spiritual truth, then we will know that what Prabhupada has given is the essence of the Vedic literature, and he has given it for our all-round benefit. Now, 12th verse. नैष्कर्म्यमप्यच्युत भाववर्जितं न शोभते ज्ञानमलं निरञ्जनं कुतः पुनः शश्वत अभद्रमीश्वरे न चार्पितं कर्म यद्यप्यकारणम्. नैष्कर्म्यमप्यच्युत भाववर्जितं. This whole section contains many important verses which point to the underlying theme of the Bhagavatam. So Nishkarmya is freedom from karmic bondage. Achyuta bhava varjitam. So if it is without achyuta bhava, if it is without devotion to the Lord, na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam. That jnanam, even jnana which is without devotion, that does not look beautiful. Na shobhate kutah punah shashwat abhadramishware. And what to speak of abhadramishware? Na charpitam karma yadyapya karanam. So, when what to speak of fruitive work or non-fruitive work, if it is not offered to the Supreme Lord. So the Bhagavatam is extending the theme which was mentioned earlier, that without a connection with the Supreme, everything else becomes, no matter what its qualities are, it becomes void. So here it is talking about the parts of karma and jnana. So even jnana, if it is the achyuta bhava varjitam, if na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam, if the jnana is without achyuta bhava, without devotion, jnana is not of much use. What to speak of karma? Abhadramishware. So when one works with fruitive intention, one gets bound in material existence, and such bondage is unfortunate. And if one doesn't get bound, then still there are other issues that come up. One needs to struggle with these. So the important point is that we all as sadhakas need to recognize the primacy of the connection with the Supreme. And the Bhagavatam stresses that anything that is not connected with the Supreme has its limitations. It does not serve a constructive purpose. Shashwat abhadramishware, abhadramishware. Everything else is not of much transcendental purpose. From the transcendental perspective, it is not of any use. So, Atho Mahabhag Bhavan Amoghadrik Shuchishrava Satyarato Dhrutavrataha Urukramasyakhil Bandha Muktaye Samadhinanusmrata Dvicheshtitam. Atho Mahabhaga. Therefore, Mahabhaga Bhavan Amoghadrik. That you are Amobhavan. So, Narguni is addressing respectfully, is addressing very respectfully Vyasadeva. Bhavan, respectfully, Amoghadrik. So your vision doesn't go in vain. You have a deep vision, enlightened vision. Shuchishravaha, Shuchishravaha. Your fame is you're faultless. Satyarato Dhrutavrataha. So his various qualifications are being described. Satyarato. You are devoted to the truth. You have followed vows strictly. Dhrutavrataha. Urukramasya akhila bandha muktaye. Urukramasya. That Lord who performs wonderful deed. Akhila Bandha Muktaye. That Supreme Lord, Bandha Muktaye, one by devoting to whom one becomes free from bondage. Samadhina Anusmara Tadvicheshtitam. Samadhina. Be situated in Samadhina Anusmara Tadvicheshtitam. And meditate on him and his pastimes, his glories. Tadvicheshtitam. So in the preceding verses, the futility of anything disconnected with the Lord has been talked about, and now in this verse the importance of connection with the Lord is stressed by stating that without that you, O Vyasa, you have the qualifications. Now Vyasa himself has earlier said that in the previous chapter towards the end he said that yes, that I have taken the vows diligently. I have studied the scriptures. So similar things are being made over here. So now material qualifications are not entirely useless. Material qualifications, if somebody with material qualifications uses those qualifications in Krishna's service, then a lot of service can be done. If provided that the material qualifications don't make one proud. Like a person is a sweet singer, that person sings Hare Krishna, sings Krishna's glories, then many people get attracted. A person who is a good writer or a good intellectual or having good material skills, and those skills are used in Krishna's service, then so much good can be done for the world. Samadhina anusmara tadvicheshtitam. So Narmani is acknowledging that Vyasa has great qualities and he has great diligence, and those qualities and diligence, it is being stated that use them in the service of the Supreme. Urukramasya akhila bandha muktaye. Urukrama is the Supreme Lord who is capable of performing wonderful deeds. Tadvicheshtitam. So his pastimes you meditate on. So here the genesis of the Bhagavatam is being described. Narad Muni is telling Vyasadeva that you should glorify the Supreme. So direct all your ratas, all your qualities towards the glorification of the Supreme Lord, and therein you will find relief from dissatisfaction. You will find the ultimate satisfaction. You are Mahabhaga. You are greatly fortunate. Now use that fortune properly. Tato anyatha kincha nidvivakshataha prithak drushas tattva rupanamabhi nakarichit kwapi chadustita matir labheta vatahat naurivaspadam. So here a beautiful metaphor is given to drive home the point. Tato anyatha. Tato anyatha means other than the Lord. So he says Samadhina anusmarta vicheshtitam. That was the previous verse. Now this verse is Tato anyatha. Apart from him, apart from the Supreme Lord, anyatha kinchani vivakshataha. If anything one tries to describe, the result of such description will be Pruthak Drishas Tat Krutarupanamabhi. Pruthak Drishas. One is having a separatist vision by which one is not able to see Tat Krutarupanamabhi. One is not able to see the ultimate reality. Tat Krutarupanamabhi. Na Karchit Kwapichit Dustita Matir. And whatever one may glorify, Kwapi, whatever it may be, Dustita Matir. The Matir, the mind, the consciousness will remain restless. An example, Labheta Vatahat Naurivaspadam. Vata Ahat. Vata is wind. The Ahat is to be exalted by. So when a boat, Naur, is when a boat is exalted by a stormy wind, then it cannot stay fixed in any one place. It will just get battered and shattered. So similarly, if our consciousness is not rested in Krishna, and whatever else we may rest our consciousness in, it will not attain lasting rest. Our consciousness will be battered and shattered by whatever other objects we try to shelter it in. And this is the tragedy of material existence, that we are often offered innumerable objects in which we can shelter our consciousness. And when we find that those objects do not give us shelter, then we get caught, we get dejected, we get frustrated, and thus we stay bound in material existence. Now, even if we don't observe the bondage, even if we don't dread the bondage, sometimes an illusion, we don't understand how grave material existence and its bondage is. But even then, we'll find that our conditioned material existence is still unfortunate. We are still suffering in material existence, and we were still caught, unable to get freedom from the bondages of life. So if we want freedom from that bondage, we need to move onwards towards the Supreme. And the more we fix our consciousness on the Supreme, because He's the Supreme unchanging reality, He stands beyond all the changes of this world, and by seeking shelter in Him, our consciousness attains rest. Saint Augustine in the Christian tradition has said, "Oh God, you have made us for you, and our heart is made for you, and our heart finds no rest unless it rests in you." So, Bhajahure Mana Shinandanandana Abhaya Charana Ravindare. That when our consciousness becomes fixed in Hari, then it becomes satisfied. Otherwise, it is not satisfied. Fifteenth text. Jugupsitam dharma krute anushasatah swabhava raktasya mahan yatikramah yad vakyito dharma iti tarah sthito na manyate tasya nivaranam janah. Jugupsitam. Jugupsitam is something which is reproachable, something which is not at all praiseworthy. It is the opposite of praiseworthy. Jugupsitam dharma krute anushasatah. Dharma krute. In the matter of religion, you are given instruction. It is regrettable, the kind of instruction that you have. Svabhava raktasya mahan vitikramah. Svabhava raktasya. According to people's nature, you have given them instruction, and you have sanctioned, you have legitimized what people anyway want to do. Svabhava raktasya mahan vitikramah. Mahan vitikramah. This is a great vyatikrama, great violation that you have done. Yad vakyato dharma iti tarah sthito. Yad vakyato. That dharma iti tarah sthito. Dharma iti. Yad vakyato dharma iti. That this is what you are told. For example, in the Vedic scriptures there is karma kand, where people are told that by dharma you will get artha and you will be happy by dharma. Iti tarah sthito. Iti tarah sthito. So there it is stated that people will say, this is what dharma is. Yes, we should practice dharma, by that we will get artha and karma and we will be happy here. Na manyate tasya nivaranam janaha. And the people, janaha, people will not think that There are some restrictions to this, that the process of dharma, artha, kama is given as a transitional process. Nivaranam. There are injunctions in scripture telling people that you have to go beyond this. And when people don't appreciate this, then they put themselves in illusion and they put others in illusion. So here, the danger of giving concessions is pointed out, especially if it is not made clear that the concessions are concessions. So a doctor may sometimes allow some patients to take sugar even if they have diabetes, because those patients just feel that they can't live without sugar. But at the same time, it also needs to be communicated to them clearly that actually, yes, you can take sugar, that is going to slow down your treatment, and eventually if you really want to be treated properly and cured, you have to give up sugar. So similarly, this is what is being stated here, that you have to give up the attachment to worldly things. Svabhavaraktasya. So this, that idea that one can practice dharma and through that one can get artha and thus be satisfied by the artha that one gets, that idea needs to be countered, and countering that is not very easy. So to counter that, it is being stated, that has to be stated clearly, and you have not done that, Vyasadeva. So that the idea of doing dharma according to one's nature, svabhavaraktasya, that doing what one likes to do within the ambit of dharma without pursuing any transcendental objective and staying stuck at the material level of consciousness, this is jugupsitam, and you have sanctioned it. So if we understand the translation, what is being said over here, that what you have jugupsitam dharma krite anushasata, the instructions that you have given in the name of dharma are regrettable. Why? Svabhavaraktasya mahan vyatikramaha, that what you have done is actually a great fault, vyatikramaha. Why? Because svabhavaraktasya yadvakya, people who are attached to worldly things, yadvakya dharma iti tarah sito, that those who are attached will say that actually doing what we are attached to, that itself is dharma, and this is what is being said in scripture. So, iti tarostita, the itaraha, the people in general will think like this, and they will stay situated at whatever level they are at, and then na manyate sanivaranam janaha. So they will do what they want to do in the name of dharma, and they will not even care for the further restrictions that are given in dharma and in the literature, and thus they will not really be elevated by the study of the literature, rather they will stay caught wherever they are. So Prabhupada in the purport talks about how this happened with respect to meat eating, and when this happened with respect to meat eating, then the Lord had to come as Buddha to do an emergency rescue operation by which people could be elevated, people could be saved from the wrong activity which was done in the name of the Vedas, the killing of animals that was happening. People are saying that this is what the Vedas are telling. Yes, the Vedas do talk about animal killing, but that is only provisional. That is not the essential instruction of the Vedas. That is a concession given for those who are anyway attached to meat eating, and that sort of misrepresentation of the Vedas had happened, and Buddha himself came to correct that. Vichakshano asyarhati veditum vibhor anantaparasya nivrittitah sukham pravartamanasya gunairnatmanas tato bhavan darsha cheshtitam vibho. So again, the same point is being hammered here. Vichakshano asyarhati, there you are expert, and indeed an expert can do this. Asyarhati veditam vibhor, an expert person deserves to understand this, can understand this. Vibhor, the glories of the Lord. Anantaparasya nivrittitah sukham, Anantaparasya, that Lord who is unlimited. So the expert person, what is the expertise of that person? Nivrittitah sukham, that person should be detached from worldly pleasures. Pravartamanasya gunairnatmanas, so those who are pravartamanasya, those who are caught up in the flow of the modes, and gunair, those who are caught up in infatuated material objects. Tato bhavan darsha cheshtitam vibho. So those people who are attached to worldly things and are caught in worldly things, they can become detached, and they can become attached to the Supreme Lord if they are guided by an expert person. So you be that expert. To bhavan darsha cheshtutam vivo. Therefore you be that expert and reveal the glories of the Supreme. So now he is talking about, okay, what is done, but what to do? But there's no point in lambasting a person for the mistake that has been done. We have to see how things can be corrected, how things can be rectified. And in that connection, he is stating here that what you could do is, even if people are attached, they can become detached by hearing the glories of the Supreme. So you please speak the glories of the Supreme. And to the extent you speak about the glories of the Supreme, to that extent people will become elevated and liberated. And in this way, people can move onwards towards the Supreme and attain the Supreme. So this is how Vyasadeva instructs Vyasadeva is instructed by Narad Muni to speak the Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll continue our discussion in future.